This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, we're going to take a little trip into what words mean, and we'll go all the way back to the Civil War and talk about one specific term that originated in the Civil War. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys I'm going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada this year, July 15th and 16th. I'm going to be a part of the Food Truck Owners Expo. At the Food Truck Owners Expo, I'm going to be giving 2 classes. I'm going to kick off the campfire sessions, and I'm going to be out on the main expo floor in my booth representing the National Street Food Vendors Association. Please come to Las Vegas, Nevada, hang out in my classes, join me on that floor, ask any kind of questions you got. Just hang out and have a good time in Las Vegas, Nevada, July 15th and 16th. Go to FTOexpo.com, place your order for those tickets today, and when you do, put in the code FTTG15 for a 15% discount. So what is this historical term? I'm a big fan of the Civil War. Not so much one of the people that like to go out and recreate the battles from the Civil War. I don't do that. I always thought it was kind of foolish for adult men to dress up like they were born 130, 150 years ago and then play war with each other. Never thought that was a cool thing at all. But I did like learning about the Civil War, especially when it pertained to Abraham Lincoln. I'm a big fan of him. So I've read a lot of books about the Civil War that pertain to Abraham Lincoln. One of the terms that came out of the Civil War, and actually post-Civil War, is called a carpetbagger. If you listen to all of my episodes of the podcast, you may have heard me refer to a carpetbagger from time to time. What a carpetbagger was, in that historical context, was somebody that lived in the North, and they moved to the South to take advantage of all the federal government money that was being poured into the South during the Reconstruction period. Now, those people were looked down upon by the Southerners, mainly because they really didn't care about the Southern economy, the Southern states at all. What they wanted was that federal government money, and they put a little teeny tiny bit into the local area. So, yep, I'm helping them, but they kept the lion's share of the money for themselves, and then they moved back up north. Does that sound familiar to you? If you've been paying attention to the talk about all the government waste, well, guess what? It's been going on a really long time. So the carpetbaggers, why were they called carpetbaggers? It referred to how they brought their personal belongings with them to the South. Basically, it was a canvas bag with handles. They would put their clothing and personal effects in. They would get on the train, or they would get on the boat, or they would just ride their horses, but they would head south and then set up in the South, pretending like they were helping so they could get all that government money, do a little bit, and then they'd go back up north. So the carpetbagger was a negative reference to people that didn't really help, didn't really care about the local economy and helping the people that needed the help. This went on for about 12 years, from 1865 to 1877. So if you were called a carpetbagger, that was a very negative term back then. Now, how does that apply today? It's still a negative label. If somebody calls you a carpetbagger, they're saying you don't care about a certain situation. All you care about is making money off of it. You don't care about the moral, legal, or ethical implications. All you want is the money. Basically, you're greedy. So how does that apply to food truck owners? Well, it comes down to just the basics. You work really hard to have clean inspections. You want to have safe operations. You work on building your reputation by hard work and following the rules. Pretty simple. But if you stay silent when you see other people out there that cut corners, like not being licensed, not only are you just being passive, you're being complicit. You are damaging the industry. You're a carpetbagger. All you are worried about is making money for your own business. You don't care one iota about the industry. You don't care one iota about the public. All you're worried about is, this is my business, so I ain't going to bother nobody else. Snitches get stitches. You've heard me say that before. I hate that juvenile nonsense. Be an adult. Be in the industry and work to protect it. If you're unwilling to protect the industry because it's not any of your business, please get out of it. You're hurting other people by allowing something you know to be wrong to continue on. If you see something that's illegal, unsafe, dishonest, you got to report it. And it's not out of spite. It's not out of trying to hurt somebody. If you report those things, number one, you're helping to preserve your business. You're helping to uplift the industry. So you have a food vendor that's on Facebook that you know is not licensed in any way at all. We have them here all the time. Every time I find one, I let my health inspector know. Why? Because someone gets sick from that food. There's going to be repercussions. And those repercussions could possibly injure me. How would it injure me? Real simple. You have somebody that's on Facebook that's cooking out of the kitchen with pets and animals and kids all around with their snotty noses, touching all kinds of food and counters and everything. And they're selling that food. Somebody says, yeah, it's yummy food. And then they get sick. And they get deathly sick. And then the word gets out that the food that caused them to be sick was prepared by someone in an unlicensed kitchen. Now, there's already rules and regulations that apply to that. But the city is going to say, you know what? We're going to take it one step farther. We're going to be safe, safer than any other city. So we're going to put in this rule and this regulation that impacts who? The legal vendors. And we'll pretend like it's going to impact the illegal ones. So they say in order to restrict this, we'll limit the number of people that can actually sell food. Government officials are not real bright. As much as we want to think they are, they're not. They won a popularity contest. They found something that the majority of people think they're good at, and they said, okay, you're popular, we're going to elect you. So now they want to continue with that popularity contest. They got to do things that will get them reelected. So they do things that they think the majority of the people want them to do. So when they feel like the majority of people want them to prevent those locals from selling food out of a home kitchen that made somebody sick, they pass laws that impact who? The legal vendors. And that's all because we decided that it wasn't worth trying to turn them in. Now, this came up in a Facebook group a few days ago. Basically, somebody copied and pasted a discussion that was held in one of the lemonade vending groups. And that discussion was about some parents who I am pretty sure are vendors because I've seen their names before. And I'm pretty sure they're vendors. But I could be mistaken. But in any case, these parents were bragging about their children setting up a lemonade stand, and they were going to be selling lemonade because the kids wanted to raise money to do something. Now, there were people that said, well, you got to make sure that you're licensed, and then they were specific on what they needed to do. But the majority, the sad majority, were carpetbaggers. They encouraged them to go out and sell lemonade without benefit of a license. Now, at no point did these parents say they were going to monitor the business to make sure the kids were doing it safely. At no point did they say, we're going to get permits, we're going to do this legally. All they did was say, our kids are going to be raising money for themselves to do something. And I can't remember what the details were. But the disappointment was the majority of people encouraged them, yeah, go do it. It's awesome. Kids need to learn. Well, kids need to learn how to do things legally correct. It is very disappointing when parents teach the kids or allow their kids to do something and it not be done correctly. So yeah, it's great that the kids want to have a business. It's great that they want to sell lemonade. Everybody says, well, I had a lemonade stand when I was 8 years old. Well, guess what? 20 years ago it was much easier to have a lemonade stand with no one caring. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago in my case, people did not care. You would set up a little table out in front of your house, have a pitcher of lemonade, and sell 5 or 6 lemonades. Oh, yay. That's not a business. That is people feeling sorry for the little kid and say, here's $1. I'll take a lemonade. And of course, 50 years ago, $1 went a long way and you were super excited. But now with social media, the kid has an opportunity to have a little miniature business. So not pulling the next door neighbors over to give them $1 out of pity. They're pulling people over through advertising that don't know the kid. So they're now not selling to friends, family, and neighbors. They're selling to total strangers. And those total strangers deserve to know that the business is safe. Those total strangers deserve to know that they're not going to get sick. So when you turn that blind eye, oh, they're just kids, I'm glad they're out there hustling. You're not glad they're out there hustling. You just don't want to teach them how to do it right. You don't want to turn them in because, snitches get stitches. You're a carpetbagger. You don't care about your business. You don't care about the community. You don't care about anything. And yeah, that's harsh words. Have standards. I can't stand by and let people do things that I know are potentially going to hurt somebody. I can't sleep at night. It bothers me. It should bother you. If you don't care about the rest of humanity, don't be involved in it, which means don't do any kind of work because you're helping somebody else. Go be a hermit. If you're going to be a part of the industry, then be a part of the industry. Protect the innocent consumers. You can either educate the kids, you can educate that illegal vendor, or you can turn them in and let the government do what they're supposed to do. But you can't just say, they're out there hustling. What if it's your kid that gets sick from the food that they're selling? What if your kid dies? Think back to your training. If you actually paid attention or were more worried about passing the test than actually learning the material, think back to your food manager certification. Who is at the largest risk for foodborne illness? I'll give you the answer so you don't have to go look it up. If you don't already know, that answer is the young and the old. They are at the highest risk because their immune systems are not developed enough. It's just lemonade. They can't get sick. Well, if they put sugar in it, yeah, they can. If the sugar isn't handled properly, yeah, they can. If the lemons, and there have been lemon recalls for all different kinds of problems with the lemons. The lemons weren't washed, for example. So now you got any kind of problem. Neurovirus, E. coli. Yes, neurovirus and E. coli aren't necessarily associated with lemonade, but it can happen. Kid goes to the bathroom, doesn't wash their hands, comes back out and grabs that cup, has their hands all over the rim of the cup, and you don't even notice because you didn't pay attention in your food manager certification. So their hands are all over the cup. They just scoop ice out of the ice bucket with their hand. You don't think, there's kids. They ain't gonna make me sick. So now they pour their lemonade all over that contaminated ice and on that contaminated cup and hand it to you, collect up the money, and you drink it. Neurovirus. So now you're sick to your stomach, have diarrhea. All because the kid didn't wash their hands, and you weren't paying enough attention to notice that. It happens. Don't believe me? Look up Chipotle. They had a big neurovirus outbreak from what? Employees not washing their hands. It was such a big outbreak that it damaged the company for a number of years. It damaged the company financially. Now, if they were a smaller company, it would have closed them. It would certainly close you. You have one instance of neurovirus that gets advertised in the newspaper, you're going out of business. But that illegal lemonade stand, not going to be written about, but still the damage is done. Somebody got sick. Somebody could have died. All because the parents didn't take it seriously. All because the people that knew better didn't take it seriously. Somebody asked the question in my group, what should I do? Educate them or turn them in? That's your only two choices. If they're unwilling to be educated, turn them in. If you don't care enough about the industry to protect it, get out of it. You're in it to be a hobbyist to make a little bit of money on the side, just go drive Uber. Deliver other people's food. You can come and go as you please. You don't have to worry about washing your hands. You don't have to worry about doing anything business-wise other than just showing up and delivering some food. If you don't care enough about the industry, do something that's easy, something within your skill set. You have to care about people. We all care about people because we want to sell them really good food so they come back tomorrow. Well, part of caring about those people is making sure that the food that they eat out away from home is served safely. So when they go to that new food truck, they got a reasonable chance of not getting sick. So take the business seriously. Don't be a carpetbagger. Don't be someone that only cares about the income instead of the people. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding everything helpful, please consider subscribing. If you love what we do, show some support. There's a link in the description to make that happen. Until next time, you guys have a profitable day.